Last time on Josiah Ball Z. I don't think I'm going to be making videos on this channel anymore. I'm sure you've noticed by now that things are starting to look a little familiar. I'm not joking, you literally hear an announcement of either a re-release, a remaster, or a reboot almost every single year. I'm not the guy that's gonna sit here on a soapbox and tell you, guys, remasters, reboots, and re-releases are bad. But whenever it's obviously just a cash cow for a company to just make even more money off of your nostalgia, yeah, I don't know, it kind of seems like a little bit of a scummy tactic. One of the most recent examples I can think of is Pokemon Fire Red. And this is literally just a re-release. There's no new updates, no bells or whistles. It's just as if you paid $20 to emulate this on your Switch 2. A game that came out in 2004 that is literally just a remake of a game that came out in 1998. The only reason why I can imagine Nintendo has done this because they know a lot of people emulate their games and there's no way for them to make money off of that. So what are they gonna do? Take all of the plethora of games that they had way back in the early 2000s and even the late 90s and re-release them so that they can make money off of you. Are they doing anything inherently wrong? Probably not. Is it a smart business decision? Absolutely. Am I gonna tell you not to go buy it? No. But I will say, if you don't feel like paying that price, you can literally do it for free. Maybe it's not the most legal thing to do, but it is still an option that you can do and everyone does it. Speaking of that, last year they released Oblivion Remastered, and look at that. It's a remaster of a video game that came out in 2006. And to be fair, I was extremely excited about this remaster. I was watching the trailer announcement as it was happening. The moment that it was announced that this was available, I went and bought the game. And guess what? I could not play this game on my laptop. My laptop's pretty decent. I've never had any problems running any other games, but even on the lowest settings, I could not get this game to run smoothly. And it's essentially just an Unreal Engine skin swap. I did think it was pretty cool that they're giving an old game new love, but there's plenty of fans of Oblivion that still opt to play for the original because it's obviously a better experience for them.
What is it, citizen?
I've seen people have fun on it. I've seen people mod it and, you know, there's a whole new fan base for it, but I still think the original is a better experience. Then you got stuff like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, Final Fantasy Rebirth, Super Mario RPG, Demon Souls, and Dark Souls 1 Remastered, DMC, which was a terrible reboot. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it was a bad game, but I do think it was a bad Devil May Cry game. And this doesn't even scratch the surface of all of the remasters, reboots, and re-releases that have been out. And I'm only talking about video games. We could also talk about movies as well.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
But the question is, what exactly are they exploiting? What are these companies looking at that they see that there is a market for? And that is nostalgia. I don't have to sit here and infantilize you. You already know what nostalgia is. It's that warm, fuzzy feeling you get whenever you smell a candle or you go inside of your grandma's house and it smells like pennies and it makes you remember a time whenever you were younger when times were better, or at least times felt like they were better. I am a sucker for nostalgia as well. I love reminiscing about how good my life used to be and then looking at my current life and going, God, why? But one of the things about nostalgia is the fact that when you remember times that used to be, most of the time it's not as good as you remember. You're only remembering how it feels comparative to how it is today. But that does not take away from how strong the pull of nostalgia actually is. Side note, take a shot every time I say nostalgia and let me know how you do down in the comments. I really want to know. If you're still alive, that is. The fact is, nostalgia is a very prominent feeling that we all feel. It's very easy for us to rely on those fuzzy feelings to make us feel optimistic and happy about how the future is going to be, even if the future looks extremely bleak, because you want to think back on how your childhood used to be so good and you used to get to play all of these video games. You didn't have to worry about responsibilities. You didn't have to worry about getting your heart broke and having to get cucked and sitting in the cuck chair in the hotel. It's not all bad whenever you get to sit in the cuck chair and think about how good Fire Red used to be whenever you played the game on the way to school. I hope I'm not the only one that had that experience. I will admit that there are some outliers. There's a lot of times whenever I think about an old game that I used to play way back in my childhood and I go back to play it and I'm like, this is not nearly as good as I remember. It's unfortunate, but times were different. Your priorities also shifted as well. So whenever you were looking at video games back whenever you were a kid, you didn't have that much to choose from. So even if a game was kind of bad, but it was at least slightly entertaining, you were happy with that because you had nothing else to play. This is definitely not to say that games that came from the past are bad, because trust me, they're not. There are games like Fable: The Lost Chapters that still hold up to this day. The aforementioned Oblivion. I love Oblivion. Oblivion. I still play it to this day. I would play it right now if I wasn't recording this video. It's just sad to look at companies like Sega that keep trying to pull back on that nostalgia hit and just can never get it right. Look at Sonic 06. For them, it actually ended up pretty all right because a lot of people love the fact that Sonic 06 is so buggy and that shitty of a game. But whenever it was released at the time, everyone hated it. That was the fun thing to do. They were the Nickelback of video game companies. Sega just could not get their shit straight. And if you look at stuff like DMC, this was an example of them putting out a reboot thinking that this is what the people want. They didn't want them to reframe it in a totally different way. If anything, what the audience wanted was for them to actually release something that added on to the story and added more layers and depth. And that's what they got right with DMC 5. So to be fair, they got it right in the end. Now I want to primarily shift my focus onto the companies themselves. Like I mentioned earlier, it's very easy to see why they might want to do something like this. It's a safe business decision for them. If they have an IP that people already see that they enjoy, why would they put millions and millions of dollars into a new IP that they have no idea how it's going to land with the audience? Why not pull from the ball and release something that they know people are going to at least buy, even if it's not an extreme amount? This could be parasitic, especially if they release something that they're not giving any love to. They just do it because they're trying to make money. I know I was glazing Bethesda a little bit with Oblivion, but look at Skyrim. It's been released like 10 fucking times. They seen the original was something that everyone worshipped, so they kept re-releasing stuff with very minimal upgrades. It was mostly just graphical tweaks that a lot of people were saying looked worse in some instances. And then also they had the Creation Club stuff that was like microtransactional, just really shitty behavior. Also, Rockstar is not absolved of any guilt. They put out the trilogy of Grand Theft Auto 3, and Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and all of that had just plenty of bugs in and of itself, and they were charging $60 for the game, and it was just a buggy fucking mess.
Okay, homie, let's load this shit up.
In instances like that, which happens a lot, I do think that there is something that needs to be said about these companies just trying to get money out of you for things that they know that you're going to enjoy because you enjoyed them in the past. But that's the intention. But 9 times out of 10, most people just go back and play the original after they played whatever remaster reboot slop that they get. And don't think for a second that these companies have morality on their mind. They're not thinking about what is best for the consumer. They're thinking about what's best for their pocket, even if paradoxically, what's best for their pocket is what's best for the consumer, because the consumer is the one that's filling their fucking pockets. You can easily lose the trust that you've built up through years and years and years, and a key example of this would be Bethesda. I don't think I would be entirely honest if I said that the blame should be mostly on the companies that are doing these things, because I think it's the audience and the people that are buying these games that are also the problems, because you're speaking with your wallet. Don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of it as well. I mean, look at Disney. How many Avengers movies are we going to get before you realize we don't want to see that shit anymore? I don't care. Avengers are dead to me. It does not matter. It's lost all of its plot. There's no reason to go back and watch it. And the sentiment is shared. I've seen other people share the same sentiment. The theaters stay fucking packed. People are still there watching the movies and enjoying it, getting their popcorn, stuffing their fucking face and saying, wow, this is such a good movie. When it's basically the same shit, same characters, same plot points. It's entirely inconsequential. It doesn't matter anymore. Whenever you have one good movie, that is whenever shit is really good. Maybe you'll get a sequel or something, but it never ends up good. This shit, you just end up keep running it into the ground. That's one of the things I will give Smiling Friends. As much as I would love to see Smiling Friends continue, they were smart. They got out while the going was good. They got out while the show was really, really good. And now in 100 years, if somebody goes back and watches Smiling Friends, they don't have to sit through the slog of realizing that the show that they're watching has become a shell of its former self, like something like Family Guy. Family Guy isn't fucking funny, but they keep fucking doing it because they think that's what people want. It's not funny anymore. It was funny the first few seasons. It's not anymore.
I have just one question for you. What are the...
But guess what? People keep fucking watching it, so they're going to keep making it. It's your responsibility to stop this from happening. If you're going to sit there and complain about it, if you're going to say that these companies are exploiting you, then you have to stop consuming the media that they put out. Now, I'm gonna stop abusing you for a second and play devil's advocate. There's a reason why you keep doing it. There's a reason why you keep going back to the slop. It's because reality fucking sucks. That shit fucking sucks, God. And it's always going to fucking suck. There's never going to be a time in which reality doesn't suck. Damn it. There's only going to be small blips of moments where it's like, wow, reality isn't that bad. Then you're going to get sucked back into reality and realize, damn, this shit actually just is dog shit. This is not fun. And so time and time again, you're going to go back into the mindset that you had before and think, you remember that time I used to play this game as a kid? And then you're gonna be back in the cycle. Remember that time whenever I used to watch Family Guy on Adult Swim and I thought it was so funny, ha ha ha. And you're gonna be right back in there. So what is the solution here? What do we do? The only solution there is to fix reality. And that's a very hard thing to do. So I don't imagine the problem is going to be solved anytime soon. I don't think these companies are going to stop making remasters, reboots, re-releases. I don't think they're going to stop. So basically this video was entirely pointless and you got to sit here and listen to me rant about something that I'm actually extremely passionate about. So if you enjoyed it, I appreciate it. Thank you. And look forward to more videos. Thanks.